Is this war inevitable, Colonel John?
No, it's absolutely not. And I think we are, to be honest, we're being had. We are watching our politicians run around pretending there's a bigger crisis than there is, because if you think of Sleepy Joe, his popularity ratings were terrible. A war, and just like Boris rushing around Europe trying to save the world, it's a lovely distraction from domestic difficulties. So that's point one. Point two is there's a huge difference between intentions and capabilities. Now, anyone can get a photograph of lots of tanks and guns and go, ooh, isn't that awful, they're threatening us. But actually what counts are the intentions of the user. And last but not least, anyone who doesn't understand the position of Ukraine through Russia and pan-Slavism doesn't understand the affection Russians have for what they call the near abroad, Ukraine. And there is no way that the Russians would allow the very policy they've followed since 1945 of having a defensive glacis in Eastern Europe to be encroached upon by the Americans or NATO or anyone else. So there is a degree of sympathy for the Russians here, who I suspect are actually just rattling the saber and frightening and splitting up the West.
Yeah, can you explain to me, John, as somebody who's worked for NATO, why does NATO seek to constantly move further eastwards? Isn't that a geopolitical error?
Well, the answer to that is, to be absolutely honest, I don't know, and I don't think that's what's going on. My own view, and it's just an opinion, is that this was all inspired by the European Union way back in the early 2000s, trying to move as far east as it could. Now, Ukraine is a step too far. And what we don't understand is any movement since 1945 to take over Eastern Europe by the West frightens the Russians. Stalin spotted this. That's why they formed the Warsaw Pact in 1955. The Russians do not want NATO on their doorstep.